Through the corridors of history, there are voices that whisper lessons of courage and perseverance. Tonight, we revisit the remarkable journey of Somerset Maugham, a man who stumbled, endured, and finally triumphed. To speak of Somerset Maugham is to recall not only a celebrated playwright and novelist, but also a man whose life was marked by long seasons of struggle, doubt, and perseverance before the dawn of recognition ever broke through the clouds. Critics once voted Shakespeare's Hamlet the greatest play of all time. That was expected. Yet when they cast their votes for the second greatest play, the choice startled many. It was not Macbeth, not King Lear, nor even The Merchant of Venice. Instead, it was a drama called Rain. What made Rain remarkable was not only its theme, a stormy conflict between human desire and religious faith, but the story of how it came into being. Somerset Maugham had not set out to craft a play of such renown. The story had begun as a short tale titled Sadie Thompson. After completing it, he put the manuscript aside, almost forgetting its existence. One evening, as chance would have it, a friend named John Colton came to visit. Looking for something to read before sleep, Colton asked Maugham for a story. Almost absent-mindedly, Maugham handed him Sadie Thompson. But what Colton discovered was not a bedtime tale. It was a spark that kept him awake until dawn. He read with growing excitement, pacing back and forth, his imagination already transforming the story into a living, breathing drama for the stage. The next morning, Colton rushed to Maugham and exclaimed, "This story can be turned into a great play. I thought about it all night. What you gave me to read for rest has robbed me of sleep." Maugham, ever reserved and skeptical, dismissed the idea. He smiled faintly and said, "Turn it into a play. At best, it will be a sickly little drama, worth no more than 6 weeks of performance." He could not imagine then that this very work, one he hardly valued, would become his most famous play and bring him a fortune of £40,000. Even then, the journey to success was not smooth. When Rain was first offered to theatre companies, many turned it away. They believed it would fail, and they were unwilling to risk their reputation. Only one producer, Sam Harris, saw promise in it. Largely because he wished to give a young, relatively unknown actress named Jean Eagles a chance on the stage. Managers protested, insisting that a more established star be cast. Yet Harris held firm, and so Jean Eagles stepped into the role that would transform her life, and Maugham's as well. The production opened, and against all expectations, it became a triumph. Night after night, for more than 4 years, the play drew full audiences. Jean Eagles, once obscure, became a star, and Somerset Maugham, once doubted, became celebrated. But we must not mistake this moment of glory for the whole of his life. The truth is that before the world applauded his name, Maugham endured 11 years of failure. Imagine it, 11 years of writing without reward, of manuscripts turned away, of dreams deferred. During that entire span, he earned only a single £1. While hunger often gnawed at him and discouragement pressed heavily, he never abandoned his pen. He trained as a physician, and friends urged him to forsake literature for medicine. It was practical advice. A doctor's life, though demanding, offered stability, respect, and income. But Maugham's spirit could not be content in the narrow corridors of a clinic. His heart belonged to the page, and he declared, "If I cannot find employment, then I must go on writing." It was less a choice than a calling, less an ambition than a destiny. At times, despair drove him to seek steady work as a journalist. He offered his services to editors, hoping at least for modest pay, but none accepted him. He returned again and again to the lonely labor of writing, often uncertain whether anyone would ever read his words. What sustained him in those years was not applause, nor money, nor fame. There was none of that, but conviction. He believed that if he persevered, his voice would one day be heard. And indeed, that conviction proved stronger than circumstance. The turning point came almost by accident. A theatre company found itself in need of a play to replace a failed production. Searching for something, anything, they stumbled upon an old script that Maugham had tucked away years earlier. It was called Lady Frederick. He had nearly forgotten it, convinced it was unworthy. Yet, when staged, the play succeeded beyond all expectations. Almost overnight, Maugham fortunes changed. Theatres clamored for more of his works. He opened his drawers and found manuscripts that had gathered dust for years. In a matter of weeks, 3 of his plays were being performed across London's most prominent stages. The city buzzed with his name. From the days of Oscar Wilde, no playwright had charmed English audiences so thoroughly. With success came wealth. Royalties poured in. Publishers vied for his signature. Invitations arrived daily from the drawing rooms of the elite. After more than a decade of obscurity, Somerset Maugham was suddenly the toast of society. Yet, for all the glitter around him, he remained a man of discipline and habit. He often wrote in his villa in Nice, under the shade of a veranda that looked out over the Mediterranean. There, he would smoke his pipe, read philosophy for an hour, and then write until midday. Never in the afternoon, he said, for then his mind grew sluggish. He wrote with the same steadiness with which he had once endured his years of rejection. Later, when war spread across Europe and Germany occupied France, he moved to South Carolina, continuing his craft even on a quiet plantation. Neither hunger, nor rejection, nor even war itself could silence his pen. Somerset Maugham's story is a testament to endurance. He was not a man who achieved fame overnight. He was a man who endured failure, who withstood discouragement, who accepted loneliness and hunger, yet who never surrendered his belief that he was meant to write. And perhaps this is why his works endure. For in his stories, as in his life, there is the constant reminder that human resilience is stronger than despair, that perseverance can outlast rejection, and that even the darkest night can give way to the dawn of recognition. For older generations, his story rings with special meaning. Many of us have known seasons of hardship, times when the world seemed indifferent to our efforts. Maugham's journey reminds us that such times need not define the end of our story. With patience and courage, new chapters can still be written. And so, Somerset Maugham's life was not only about plays and novels. It was about the steadfast spirit that refused to quit, the discipline to continue when all seemed lost, and the wisdom to turn hardship into triumph. If this story spoke to you, if it stirred a memory or inspired a thought, we invite you to stay with us on this journey. Please like this video, subscribe to Memory Lane Media, and join us as we continue our series, 40 Success Stories. Because the lessons of the past are not locked in history, they live on, guiding us toward the future.